83! And look, Russ is there, so you can see him. He's like in the edge of the shot. He's actually here today in person, live. I mean, like he actually, you can like touch him. And
I'm not there,
That's okay, yeah. Today on Security Digital Live, we're going to talk to Zach Hill, not the one from Death Grips, I don't think, but I'm going to try to make him convince us that it's not really him. He's from itcareerquestions.com, so he's like a famous podcaster person on YouTube. And I know you probably already have a career or you are interested in one, but look, Zach's the expert on this stuff. So IT and cybersecurity are places you got to keep learning forever. And most of us, unlike me, a lot of people are not very empathetic. They have like problems with humans and problems with corporate culture and all this kind of thing. So stick around and we're going to talk to Zach about that.
This is a Security Weekly production.
Welcome to Secure Digital Life. If your users are going to keep putting risky stuff on your machine, you're screwed. So, Tom can help us understand the complexity of blockchain.
I was reading through the show notes, man.
Oof. In binary, it would be 001. Who cares? But it's probably not significant anyway. Be like you're looking out through the HAL dot, you know, like, hey, Dave.
It's like Sims, but with, you know,
it would be like Sims.
Instead of AI, it's only.
Are you working on earning your Security Plus certification? Earn your certification faster and smarter with Cybex. Their courses and guides are compiled with CompTIA approved content, providing you with the knowledge to be fully prepared on exam day. The Cybex Security Plus Gold course includes a partner to you pass guarantee. Users enjoy free course updates and repeats until you pass the Security Plus exam. Learn more and register for a free trial today at cybex.com/go/free trial. When you are ready to purchase, save 50% with code SECURITY50. Hurry, this offer ends December 31st. Accredited by Microsoft, Cisco, NetApp, IDLE, Oracle, and EC Council, QuickStart delivers high-impact, low-cost IT training through its cognitive learning platform in multiple domains. With QuickStart, you get an ever-growing catalog of courses, self-paced courses offered through a monthly subscription, virtual classrooms offered through an annual subscription, peer-to-peer learning, mentoring, official courses, certified instructors, hands-on labs, and more. For more information, visit www.quickstart.com. Use coupon code PAUL20 to get 20% off on all cybersecurity courses. Quick Start, creating world-class technologists. You, and only you, can join us for our webcast with domain tools about how to analyze and investigate malicious JavaScript attacks. This Thursday, October 11th, 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to securityweekly.com/domain tools to register now, and you do have to register because that way you'll get on this. Today, Russ and I are lucky enough to have Zach Hill talking to us from IT Career Questions. Hi, Zach.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, Zach.
Fine.
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Awesome.
He has a brick wall.
I know.
I don't have a brick wall.
I have a brick house.
Like a brick. Yeah.
I think one of these days I'm going to jump through this thing like the Kool-Aid man.
I think you should do that.
I love it.
What do you say to get the Kool-Aid guy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then you have to, we should have done that. You could have broken all the bricks. That would be awesome. We should have done that. But you're not the guy from Death Grips, right?
No.
So I have to give you a hard time. See, in Rhode Island, there was a famous guy named Doug White, who was a newscaster for like 100 years on the TV show. And every time I go to a restaurant or something, people go, oh, you're not Doug White. You're not him. You don't have the hair. And I'm like, he's been dead since 2007. And then they argue with you. No, they really, I get arguments all the time. They go, no, he's not dead. I saw him last week. I'm like, then you need to call an exorcist because he's been dead since 2007. I actually verified it. I got in some trouble. I called some people and they're like, oh, you're so rude. And it was like, you know. So, but I tell you, if Zach put on a toque, if you put on a toque and some big headphone cans underneath it, I think, you know, you could do the face tat video for the other Zach Hill, which is cool, actually, if you haven't seen that. It's a great band. But anyway, so I started working in IT in 1977.
That's when I was born.
yeah, you weren't born. Zach wasn't born. Nobody in this building was born in 1977. And I actually started. I was writing Fortran 2 code for a muffler company, if you can do that. But Zach, you're the expert. So how did you get started in IT?
So I think saying expert is a far stretch for sure, and in IT in general, right?
Well,
but,
yeah.
I've been working in IT since the year 2000. So I started off really building websites. That's how I first got started. I picked up a book called HTML for Dummies, and I said, I'm gonna build websites. That's gonna be my thing, right? And then back then, I feel like everybody kind of thought, hey, this guy knows websites. He knows about computers, so we're gonna ask him everything we possibly can about computers. And that's kind of what got me actually started in more of the IT area, is just people asking me, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? I'm like, I just know how to do websites, but I'll try to help you. So I got interested more in the IT role, and I was lucky enough to get an entry-level job for a school district way back in, I think it was like 2001-ish. And that kind of started my career working in the industry. I stopped doing websites because I found it boring, and I hate coding. So the rest, I know.
I hate HTML coding.
Picked up an interest for it now. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I got my start. I worked for about three different school districts.
Wow.
Did consulting, worked for a few different, larger enterprise companies. And then the last job I just had was working for a hospital in their IT department. I was the mobile device administrator, and I handled a lot of the security policies and things like that. Ooh. And then as of February 1st of this year, I started doing this YouTube thing full time.
Wow. So. You weren't the person who sent me that giant bag of cell phones, were you? Somebody sent me an anonymous bag of cell phones last year.
That's weird. It used to be dog poop. Now it's cell phones.
Yeah, well, they weren't burning. They didn't leave a burning bag of cell phones on my front porch.
Know of.
How did you get started, Russ? So don't do true confessions.
Very similar to the way Zach did. I was pursuing a degree in chemistry, believe it or not, around 2000. I had moved out to California, not that kind of chemistry.
That's what they always
Metallurgy,
say.
To be precise.
I've seen Breaking Bad. I know that works.
And I moved out to California for a little while, and then I came back, and somebody said, hey, Russ, you build websites, right? I said, well, I know how to do a little bit of coding using Front Page. Remember that one, Zach?
I remember it.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, we got a job for you at a local university doing help desk, because they just assumed that building websites was synonymous with, break fix. So
why not?
You could do one, why not do the other? And then from there, here I am. So
okay, also, all right. Well, that's how a lot of people got into it, and I think everybody just kind of lives in that world of they just assume and they come downstairs and go, Spock, fix it. And it's like, oh yes, Captain, you bet. And you don't know what went on behind the scenes with Spock and Scotty, where Scotty's like, I don't know, he's like a red truck. God, run like hell. But but then when the camera cuts back, it's like, I got her, Captain. I'm giving her all she's got.
She's gonna blow.
Yeah, that's when Spock showed all the emotion. Was off camera. Was just like, that kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. Okay, sorry. I drank a lot of coffee. So Zach, if I was a high school student right now, you have a career site and you have a lot of content about this stuff. So if I was a high school student right now or a college student, it doesn't matter. What do you think there's like 3 key things I ought to be doing if I want to succeed in IT? I want to actually have a career in IT, not just playing video games.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is trying to set up your own type of home lab based on what you're interested in. I mean, obviously, you need to find out what you're interested in. So you have to do your research and see what areas of the field are going to be of most interest to you. And YouTube is just this wonderful resource that there's so many people out there that provide different content on all the different areas in IT. They talk about whether it's developing or sysadmin, network admin, security, of course. So a lot of these kids, they need to do that research and see what they might like, and then from there they can take it all at home, and they can build their own home labs, which is, I think, one of the most crucial things right now for anybody, whether you're just getting into IT or you're just trying to advance yourself in this field, is building your own lab, whether you're doing VMs or you're picking up some switches off of Craigslist or something like that. Just doing your own research and getting yourself involved as much as you can, and of course just always trying to learn something, trying to figure out what that best path could be based on what you're learning. And
That's why
I always encourage. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's why gamers often are really good at IT, because every gamer I ever knew was always somebody who was behind the curve on hardware, and they were always sitting there saying, "I want to play this." And I don't know how to get it to work because the processor just can't handle it, and I'm running at 5 frames a second, and then they're like bolting refrigerators onto their CPU and stuff to try to overclock, and then they blow it up, and smoke and fire comes out, and the next thing you know, it's just like that. So yeah, go ahead, Zach.
So with like high school kids, I think they have it. I mean, they have it so easy nowadays. I feel like because there's so many different schools out there that offer some type of program within your high school years to get a certification, whether they have like a career center in the area that offers that. I live in a very small area right now. There's 16,000 people that live in my town, but we had a career center here, and we were having 16, 17-year-old kids being certified in A+, Net+, their CCNAs, and it just blows my mind, which I'm very happy to see that. I'm very jealous at the same time. I wish I had that when I was in high school,
No, you think you're jealous? Try me out.
Yeah, right.
I didn't have the internet. Now, I will say, when I learned how to do a VPN on Cisco, because I had somebody call me and say, "You know how to do a VPN on Cisco, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I learned. I watched a guy do it. He was speaking Farsi. Oh. But I could watch on the screen and make notes. Yeah. But I didn't have that. These kids today have got it so easy.
And a lot of local libraries now have programs, after school programs that the kids can go to learn how a formal classroom setting to do things like that, code, whether it's coding or maybe even some basic pen testing or something.
Well, and
like
you can
that.
take those classes online too. I mean, that's the other thing. Is it's like you don't even have to worry about, you live in a community of 16,000. It's like jump online and there's a free cyber course. There's a free this. There's a free that. And Harvard is teaching programming for free. And I'm like,
Harvard
wow, that's
or MIT does it too.
Or MIT. All these people have it. University of Michigan does that and all those kind of things. So you mentioned certificates. And I watched one of your videos about certification versus degrees. But what do you think, if you wanted to be employable, what would be a key certificate I should get?
I guess, are you asking for the entry level position?
Oh yeah. We're all about entry level, so
the A+ by far.
A+.
I mean, there's I think I just did research yesterday for a video. There's like 7,000 plus jobs out there that require the A+ or ask for the A+, which. That's a lot of jobs. I mean, I think the A+ is definitely the best certification that you can get for an entry level job. I mean, it shows that.
Yeah, I look at that's what
knowledge.
I tell students that all the time is just to go look at Monster.com or Dice.com or somebody. Hey guys, you could sponsor my show, but whatever, and count how many hits did you get if you type in something, and look at the jobs you want to look at, and you say, this is a job that sounds like I would like. And then see, what does it require? And if it says 8 to 12 years and a PhD in computer science, you're probably not going to, it's going to take a while to get there. You can do it, but it's going to take a while. But on the other hand, if it says A+ or N+ or whatever, then those are entry-level certs, and you can get them. My big point about certs is, if you're a high school student, is be sure and check out the renewal rate.
Yeah.
Because I know my wife was sitting on the couch last night all weekend, and she's been doing CPEs. Because she has to do her CPEs for the year, and she was complaining about that and how much it costs and all this stuff, because her employer won't pay for CPEs, because they don't care if she has a CPA or not. Right. So she has to pay. So if you don't have an employer who's willing to pay you to have these certs, you might want to check out what's the long range cost of it. What's A+? They have a renewal now, right? You have to recert on that.
Yeah, it's every 3 years.
Yep.
But you can also, if you say you get the A+, you can, in 3 years, you can get the Net+ on your A+. Renewals.
Yeah. That's because Cisco's like that too. They're always trying to get you. Like my Cisco, you have to redo every 3 years, which sucks, Cisco. But you have to. But you can add on to it, which is actually a fate worse than death, because then next thing you know, you're like a CCIE, and you have to take like 97 hours of training and then 15 exams or something to get that. And it's like, I'm here, and in 3 years I get to do this again. And it's like, oh. But yeah, A+ didn't used to be like that, and I like that a little better, but now it's 3 years. So CISSP requires 3 years of work experience, and you have to have 120 CPEs across 3 years. They do have a junior version, though, if you're looking at that you don't have to have the work experience or something like that. So, okay. Any other certs that you like? I mean,
I mean, I'm a big fan of the CompTIA certs as far as entry level stuff goes. You know, I think those are. I mean, the Security Plus is probably, I think, one of the most relevant certs right now as far as, you know, industry standards. Probably take it, you know, with any type of entry level job.
Okay.
But even, you know, outside of certifications, if you're looking for an entry level job, I think the best skill that you could have is that customer service type of skill, because that'll having customer service skills for an entry level job will get you a job quicker than having a certification.
Yeah, well, good luck getting that one. Like they've been telling me that for years and years and years. I got kicked out of a Zig Ziglar class once. And they just gave me a tape that was called like, "Why not just hang yourself?" or something like that. And I was like, "What? Come on! I have a positive attitude, you bastards!" Well, okay. So in the same light, what about college degrees? I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, you think you should go to college and get a degree, or you should just skip it and get a job?
Well, you know, I think the college degrees are definitely going to set you, they'll set you up better. You're going to have better odds of getting a job, I think, getting a college degree than just coming straight into the field with a certification or, you know, very little experience at that. You know, there's so many jobs that have that hard requirement that you have to have a degree, and you can't bypass that. There's nothing you can do about it. So if, you know, you're looking at a job that has a degree requirement, then you have to get a degree.
Well, and don't forget that almost every promotion job has that requirement. So once you go beyond, unless you just want to run your own shop and be your own person forever, or be a YouTube celebrity, I mean, you know, which I want to do that, you're going to end up needing that degree. And I got bad news for you. Undergraduate degrees suck in terms of getting them, because they take 120 credit hours. And when you're trying to work and you take 1 or 2 classes a semester, well, welcome to middle age when you actually get that degree, and that's a tough one to do.
That's 8 years.
Yeah,
it would take at least to fill that requirement.
And very much so. I completely agree with that. I mean, whatever you think about college, the reality of it is that there will come a point when you need the degree.
Check a box.
And it's a lot easier to get it when you're 18 than when you're 30.
It's true.
At least that's been my.
I always encourage that. I mean, I get asked all the time, should I go the certification route or should I go the degree route? And I say, well, here's how the degree has an advantage, you know, and you're young right now, so I would go down that degree route. But
and if anything on earth will teach you those customer service skills, which I completely agree with Zach, college helps with that, because it teaches you to write and it teaches you to deal with people, because there's a lot of stuff you got to deal with in college.
Yeah, communications. And that's why a lot of our students will ask us, well, why the heck do I have to take communications? I'm going into IT position or cybersecurity position. Well, communications is how you deal with the customers, how you communicate information from the client to your supervisor.
Exactly. I'm like, you want to end up like me? Come on. I'm a computer science. Bite me. Maybe I'll bite you.
Like having those communication skills, I mean, they'll take you far. You could talk your way in a lot of different things, or a lot of better jobs,
or out of.
Oh, I tell you,
or that too.
Yeah. I'm always so jealous, because see, my brother is like the person who's got all the personal skills, and he can walk into a bar, and in a half an hour, everybody in there not only knows him, but they like him.
Yeah.
I mean, I was shooting pool with him in Breckenridge. I could have shot pool in that bar for 9 months in Breckenridge, and maybe somebody would have went, there's that guy again. My brother's in there 15 minutes. Everybody's like, hey, man, how's it going? Hey, oh, no, don't leave. You know, let me buy you another round. And all this. And I was like, and then, you know, in a little while, he's like, and somebody will eventually try to sell us drugs. And he was a federal agent. So, yeah. So he was good at that. So in that same light, then, I mean, I think it looks like I prepped you guys for this, but I actually didn't. So, Zach, one of the videos you had, and I think it's really useful for our students and me in particular, was about 5 things that would destroy your career. And I thought, that's a pretty good one. I've probably done most of them, and probably some other ones that you haven't thought of that could destroy your career. Like don't talk about Fibonacci numbers all the time was one, and saying the F word a lot was I got in trouble with that one. Like I was coding Lisp. And I was just sitting there coding, and I didn't realize that people could hear, and you know, they're just like, wow, you like swear constantly. I'm like, I'm coding Lisp, believe me. But then they were like, oh, that's not appropriate behavior here. So Zach, why don't you like you and Russ and I should talk about 5 things that will end your career. And I'll let Zach go first, since he's the star. Yeah,
wow, that video was so long ago too. Now I feel like. I would have to think about that, because now, you know, there's so many different things I feel like could.
Well, it's okay. You don't have to rely on the video. Let's make a new one.
Yeah, no. Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. You know, I think one of the big things that could definitely potentially ruin your career, obviously, would be, I guess I could go with that inability to keep learning.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably one of the big ones.
Yeah.
If
I
you're
like
not
that
willing
one, yeah.
to
I mean, I
continue to
don't
learn.
like it, but no,
Right. Well, and not a lot of people do want to continue to learn.
No, I
There's
mean,
a lot
I
of
used to fire
just
people.
stagnate.
I mean, so I was a consultant, and I worked for a company, and I went and evaluated people in IT and decided if we were keeping them, firing them, or transferring them. And inevitably, you know, if I went to somebody and I said, well, we like you, you have skills, but we don't need you anymore, the person would be like, okay, yeah, see, I'll go down the street, and they get another job. But the people that I was firing were like, I will be coding COBOL until I die. I refuse. And those people were like crying on the way out the door because they're like completely unemployable. They had no other skill set.
Yeah, staying relevant and current, I totally agree 100% with Zach. If it's not number one on the list, it's number two. I mean, it's definitely high up there.
Yeah.
You know, keeping those skill
What's your
sets
number
fresh
one?
and clean.
Yeah, we want to hear what Russ's number one is now.
I've always been
It's act like Doug.
no, it's not. I am not a sycophant. You know, I don't pray at the temple of Doug. I'm not acting like.
Oh no, I was saying you're saying don't behave.
Don't
like
be
Doug.
like.
Yeah.
Don't behave like
Yeah.
Doug. I still would have to say another close number one or number two would be. I've always had a problem with people not taking the job seriously. So they would show up to an interview not properly dressed, or they would stutter or yammer a lot, you know, kind of like what I'm doing right now. So don't do that. But, you know, speak with authority and speak with conviction. You know, if you're a 4-year graduate of cybersecurity, you know, at least pretend like you know a little bit about what you're talking about.
That's what the rest of us are doing.
Yeah, at least on a superficial level. You know, your kung fu may be good, you know, but if you can't convince somebody that your kung fu is good, then you're not for me, and I'll move on to the next.
I will add to that one. So when I first went to PhD school, a very wise man, Phil, you know who you are. Phil told me, he said, perception is more important than reality. Yeah. And he said, if you want to survive graduate school, perception is what it's all about. And I always took that to heart. And he was 100% right. I saw people that were smart fail because people perceived them as being lazy or not working hard, even if they did. And I saw other people that were total idiots like me succeed because people perceived that I was working hard because I was good at faking it. And, you know, you come in and say, I was up all night, when really you were just drunk. But you know,
or playing Fortnite.
Yeah, playing Fortnite.
Or both.
So do you agree with that one, Zach?
Yeah, but let me add to that, because
Sure.
there's that perception, but there's also that, you know, there's a lot of people, and I feel in this field, and many that I've dealt with already, that they think that they know it all, right?
Oh, yeah.
Cocky person who, you know, they rub everybody the wrong way. I mean, that'll screw your career in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Because you just start rubbing everybody wrong.
Yeah.
No,
So
I agree. Arrogance
you know
is
it all. You act like you know it all.
Yeah.
That's not good.
There's
Not
a
gonna
fine
be-
line between the two, you
Yeah,
know,
it is.
presenting yourself like you're an authority, or at least, you know, you know what you're talking about, versus being arrogant and you know, dismissive and not listening to other people. I mean, it's just...
And there is some bad news in IT, is that in IT at some point you can pretend you know it all, but if you don't actually know it all, you're going to get hosed.
Yep.
And eventually it's going to add up on you, and you're gonna, but yeah, being arrogant is just annoying, and I deal with people like that all the time. I mean, not that I am, but I mean, I'm like really humble and dismissive of, wait, what? No, I'm not reading that. You're all fired, all of you. But okay, so I guess I have to do mine is transference, and it's about culture, and it's very easy to try to transfer your belief or your culture to other places, especially if you've worked somewhere else.
Sure.
And you go from this place, and like I went from college to working in a bank. And it was really challenging because I had worked in this like mainframe lab, and everybody down there was like a uber nerd, full, you know, this full metal nerd stuff down there. And suddenly I was at this bank, and there was all these people in coats and ties, and they were very stuffy and conservative and stuff like that. And I kept getting written up because they would come in and, you know, and then they would say, oh, I heard you use a swear word. And it's like, yeah, I'm a programmer. Like, what did you expect when you hired a programmer? You know, and they're like, oh, I write you up again for disrespectful behavior. You know, what is this?
Insubordination.
Like, you know, and yeah, so I don't know. What do you think about that one?
I absolutely agree. Workplace culture is so different no matter where you go, or depending on where you go. We actually had a former job that I had in education. We had to teach an entire 15-week course just in workplace culture, because the people we were bringing in may have had the hard skills, but they had no soft skills. And so they couldn't deal with, oh, this place is particularly conservative, or this place is a little bit more liberal, but you can't wear open-toe shoes, or, you know, that would not have flown.
Tattoos all over your arms and stuff like that. I've seen people written up for that, you know, like, oh, you have to cover that up, and you have to wear sleeves down to the end of your arms, and all those facial tattoos are never going to cut it.
Certain jobs won't even hire you. If I know law enforcement, the Rhode Island State Police was a big one. I had a student who wanted to get into the RISP, Rhode Island State Police, but if you have sleeves, meaning tattoo sleeve, they won't let you in.
Right. That's stuff on your hands.
You're done.
Face tat. Another Zach Hill reference. You can't escape Zach Hill. Okay, well, so IT Career Question does seem to be a big success. I was looking at it. It looks like it's a really nice show, and I hope everybody will check it out. But do you think that style of learning is a new thing? I mean, when I went to school, it was all just about, you know, you go to a lecture hall and you have a book and somebody sits up there and drones on and you read the chapter and whatnot, and it's over. But I mean, to me, today, that's all changing, and the needs of people that want to keep learning have to find ways to use this kind of content and learn something from it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I stumbled into this, and then I somewhat took advantage of the opportunity, but it's true. I mean, so many people just rely on YouTube for all their learning. I mean, I know that I will look on YouTube to see how to do something if I'm not sure, you know? So, and I know there's plenty of people out there who do the same thing. So I think the availability, and all the different options that you have out there. I mean, come on, if you wanted to say you wanted to study for the Security Plus, you could find, you know, 100 different videos out on YouTube on training for that. You know what I mean? So the resource is endless, and you can't beat that. It's free. I mean, you can never beat free, but at the same time, I think it has its limits. You know, there's more, I think, e-learning platforms that are out there now that are starting to adapt a lot of their content to more of that YouTube type of feel, so they can reach more. I think it's the younger crowd really that's really starting to feed off of YouTube.
I call that the noise in the model, because you're right. I mean, it's the first thing. Just before I ran in here, I was like, you know, I was Googling, you know, how to do a podcast interview, but I mean, the minute I need to know something, I don't care what it is, whether it's you know, how to compute something, or how an algorithm works, or how to play RimWorld, or any of those kind of. It's a cool game.
I know, it's just funny that you say that.
But you know, how to play a game or whatever, or why do my animals keep dying in The Sims or something. You do that, but the problem now is that when I type that into Google, I mean, I guarantee you if I typed how to do a podcast interview, I would get 8,000 websites, and I don't know which one to look at and how to rely on it. How do we teach students, or how should new people start to filter out the noise?
There's such a plethora of information now. You know, last night I was Googling, you know, one specific thing on something I'm teaching in class today. Later on, and you know, I literally got 140,000 hits, responses. So I'm not going to sit through 140,000 responses or read through, but I will have to learn better how to vet. Like, how does the entry level person who's, you know, just starting out, how do they vet those resources?
And misinformation too.
Well, yeah,
not everybody knows what they're talking about on the internet.
Fake news.
I don't know. Do you have any tips for us, Zach? I mean, what's your approach?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm trying to be that resource that people can go to, so that I can then, you know, give them, I think, the most relevant, validated resources that I can find, that they'll be able to get that information, and it's going to be reliable. It's going to be, you know, that best resource for them. But I mean, yeah, it takes time. If you're going to sit there and be one person looking up, you know, whatever it may be, weeding that stuff out does get hard. And then being that there's so many different people, I think, that offer that same type of material, it's then just finding whoever it is that you relate to the most.
I agree. I'm going to use two really dated references for that. One, I call that the Walter Cronkite problem. And if you youngsters don't know, or any of you, Walter Cronkite was this very, very respected newscaster who was the anchor of the CBS Evening News for like, I don't know, like 100 years or something. And, you know, people trusted this guy. I mean, if he came on there and he said up is down and black is white, everybody was like, you know, saying that the next day.
Yep.
And they trusted him. And Roger Simon was another one. He just happened to be a friend of mine, but he was the voice of Britain and Belgium, and you know, he had this evening news show, and he talked about the British every night and what was happening in England for the Belgian evening news, and he's very, very famous and very trusted, and everybody relied on his judgment. So we don't really have that on the internet, because you just get this cacophony of like weirdness, and some of it's wrong. I mean, I see stuff all the time where people post these, you know, this thing where like, I don't know how to fix your problem, but mine works, you know, and you're just like, if I could find you, I would hurt you really, really bad, like with like electric eels or something.
But I think that's one of the drawbacks of just-in-time learning, and that's what I think Zach is talking about here, or at least part of it. You know, is if I'm hosting let's say a weekly podcast, and 1 week I say something incorrect or wrong, you may not be around to look at the follow-up video where I correct that next week or whatever. So if you're not, you know, and then what are you stuck with? Well, you're stuck with the incorrect information, and that's problematic. So you know, that I think what Zach's doing is good work, you know, and vetting those resources and doing those types of things. People like Zach,
Yeah. So as we start to wind this down, Zach, in our These Kids Today, since you guys started it, in the These Kids Today segment, what do you wish had been there when you got started? I mean, if you could just go back in time and you could do anything you want, what kind of tools do you wish had been available to you?
YouTube, hands down.
Yeah, I would just say the internet.
Was around back then.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't have the internet.
It's so easy.
No, I completely agree. I mean, one of my first endeavors was to go to IBM headquarters and steal a book because nobody had a copy of it, and it was impossible to get, and I wanted all these instructions, and IBM wouldn't sell it to me. They were like, oh, you have to be this and this and this, and we can only give it to engineers. And I'm like, I'm an engineer. And they're like, no, you're not. And I was like, yeah, I am, really. I'm an IBM engineer. My name is Dan. Just send it over. But
another thing. Oh, sorry. Good.
Go ahead, Zach. I'm sorry.
I was saying you social enginered them to try to get.
I absolutely did. And
another resource I would say, which I wish I had back then, was you know, audiobooks.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in college in 1995, which seems like forever ago. But we didn't have cell phones. Well, most of us didn't have cell phones, let alone smartphones. And so, you know, I'm in my car roughly 2.5 hours a day, something like that. So I can use that time to brush up on things or listen to things like, you know, more than just the newspaper or BBC or, you know, Al Jazeera. I can actually, I'm, you know, listening to, you know, a book on CCNA or something like that.
I mean, I can remember turning my term papers in with heliograph. So, it was, yeah. If you don't know what that is, look it up on Google. Zach, any final words for us here today on Secure Digital Life?
I think most people on that watch your show or listen to your show know just to keep on learning. That's I think that's the most important thing nowadays, is to keep yourself relevant. So cool. I really appreciate you having me on here and talking with you guys. It was awesome.
That was awesome. Yeah,
thanks for joining us.
You're a great guest.
Yeah.
Thanks all of you for watching and listening to Secure Digital Life this week.
Yeah.
We
check
appreciate
out IT
Zach
Career.
Hill.
Yep.
Be sure to check out itcareers.com.
Yeah.
And we'll see you again soon.